Here lies the mysterious and unsolved tale of a young woman referred to as the Chop Chop Lady. Based on that term alone, you can probably guess the reason why she was named that way. Let's talk crime local. Hi, my name is Jinea, and for today's story, let's take a dive into a gruesome mystery that happened in the capital of the Philippines, Manila, during the year 1967. The term Chop Chop Lady was derived from the word chop, meaning to cut something, and this word was used to describe someone, or specifically a woman who was chopped into inappropriately smaller pieces, basically mutilation. While this word became popular in the 1990s with another crime, the first lady to suffer this fate was Lucila Lalu, a 28-year-old woman who was murdered and sliced into pieces in the year 1967. Before her death happened, Lucila Lalu was simply seen as a simple person trying her luck in the big city, Manila. Over the years, she got married to a policeman and became a businesswoman of two enterprises, Lucy's House of Beauty and the Pagoda, a nightclub in Santa Cruz. However, on May 28, 1967, Lucila went missing. And right after 2 days, the case was revealed to the public that her legs were wrapped in newspaper in a garbage can on Malabon Street, Santa Cruz. Soon after, her legless, headless torso was then found in a vacant lot along Epifanio de los Santos Avenue, or most commonly known as Elsa Street. Reports from the newspaper stated that her limbs felt like they came from a freezer before it was seen on the street. Her hands were still tied behind her back, and unfortunately, till this day, Lucila's head was never found. As the case developed, the messy side of Lucila's life resurfaced. Reports came in saying that Lucila had a lot of lovers, and the police immediately responded by hunting them. There were also a few testimonies from the people Lucila knew, however most of these were contradictory. Eventually, the suspects of this case was eventually figured out, and it all came down into three main culprits. First is her 19-year-old lover and waiter at the Pagoda, Florante Relos. Second was patrolman Añano de Vera, a 42-year-old estranged partner who was the last person to be seen with Lucila. And lastly, Jose Luis Santiano, a dental student boarder at Lalu's parlor. Throughout the investigation and interrogation of the suspects, Florante Relos precipitated headlines such as the MPD or Manila Police District solves murder of dismembered girl. He appeared to have at least a reason for killing her. She was good to me, he told the police, and admitted having intimate relations with the victim. However, he had an airtight alibi from his friends being somewhere else at the time of the murder, and Relos was released after finding no evidence against him. Suspicion was then put on the victim's common-law husband, Añano de Vera, and was identified as one of the strongest motives to kill Lalu. Apparently, he had threatened her and Relos after discovering their affair, but the police could not find any direct evidence connecting Vera to the crime beyond the strong motive he might. However, 2 weeks after Lalu's death, on the 15th of June 1967, Santiano, the 28-year-old dental student, surfaced and confessed to investigator Surgeon Ildefonso Labao of his crimes. He recounted and detailed the events that led to the brutal killing. He alleged that Lalu tried to seduce him before, but got rejected when he was trying to make moves on her. In a fit of rage, he throttled Lalu to death by chopping her body and disposing of the parts, including her still-to-be-found head in a creek in Scout Albano, Quezon City. This case does not stop here. A few days after Santiano's confession, he suddenly retracted and repudiated his statement and insisted on his innocence. Surprisingly enough, before the confession, the police did not bother to investigate Santiano's room because they thought at that time they did not consider it important. It was only after the confession that the police decided to take a look into his living conditions. There, they found the door seemed to have been forced open. There were also bloodstains on the floor, a kitchen knife, a razor blade, and a woman's stockings. Apparently, even with all of these pieces of evidence, the police and authority concluded that it was still insufficient and unconvincing enough to arrest Santiano. In an unsuspecting plot twist, a retired cop named Steve Hodel spoke up and claimed that his father killed Lucila Lalu. His father is George Hodel, the suspected murderer of Elizabeth Short, also known as the Black Dahlia case in 1947. According to him, there was a period wherein his father abandoned him and his family and migrated to the Philippines, which then links to the suspected killing of Lula. He further explains it on his books called Most Evil. Lula's case, although Santiano was pinned, is something that can be dragged on unresolved. In fact, as many have in the past. But what do you, the viewers, think? Do you believe Santiano should have been arrested when the police found evidence related to it? How about George Hodel, a suspect of another popular crime? Is he the one to blame for what happened to Lula, especially on his son's claims on all of his father's crimes? As for me, this case was literally one of the most harrowing things I've researched on till this day. This case of Lucila Lalu was even termed as a jigsaw murder because it took a while for the police and the authorities to find Lalu's chopped up bodies in different locations in Manila. It was also puzzling as well on how the investigations went with the suspects and the potential murderers. To this day, Lucila Lula's story has not yet been solved. While there are two prominent suspects at hand, there is still no official statement that says that one of them killed and mutilated her body. Perhaps the killer is not Hodel or Santiano, but a different person. We'll never know, since unfortunately, Lucila Lula's story is an open case, waiting to be solved. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I would like to hear your thoughts from this crime local mystery from the Philippines. And that's it for now. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Crime Local.